Hello from Gardening at Douentza here in Ireland, and this video is an update on the plants I got from Miss Orchid Girl 7 months ago, way back in May. I don't think Miss Orchid Girl needs any introduction to anybody who looks at YouTube, because Miss Orchid Girl, or Danni, is the queen. But I'm going to put a link to her video up above all the same. I'm also linking to my video when I got the package from Danni and saw the surprise orchids inside. So there you go, up above it is. But now, how did these orchids do? First up is this Phalaenopsis. And this one is called Sweet Memory Liodoro. And I'm sure you've seen the video that Danni has of this particular plant. Now, when Danni sent it to me, it had a single root, single solitary root, which is the one that you see going down there into the bark. And it came bare root, so I had to pot it up. Now, since then, it grew 2 roots, one of which you can see there. It decides it wants to head to the skies. And there was a second root, but unfortunately when I staked the plant up and propped it up, I rubbed the root and I've killed it off. So that's bad news. But I thought I would stake it because the weight of these leaves I feared might snap the plant away from the root that was wedged in the bark. So I'm glad I staked it up. Now the good news, as you can see, is that we have a flower spike. There it is. In terms of culture, this plant is now getting less light than it did on Danni's balcony, and you can tell that by the fact that the leaves have greened up considerably. They were really quite pale when I got it first. So, you know, it's in a different cultural environment, but still it seems to be doing well, hence the flower spike. Also, one thing I noticed was that some of the leaves were a little bit blotchy. There, can you see that there? Now, I heard Danni mention at one of her videos that one of her Phalaenopsis, and I'm not sure if it was this one or not, had these blotches, and she suspected it was some kind of mineral or vitamin deficiency, or trace element deficiency that the plant had, but she wasn't quite sure. And yeah, in any case, it doesn't seem to be doing the plant any harm. I think it may have faded a bit since it's come to me, but I'm not sure about that. In any case, this one is doing well, except of course for the fact that I decided to kill off one of its roots, and I hope that I'll be able to show you some nice pink scented flowers before too long. This second plant is a Maxillaria tenuifolia, and I was absolutely delighted to get this one because it has really large dark blooms that come from soil surface level. Now, I potted it in kind of medium bark. There seems to be conflicting information out there about what exactly it should be potted in, but the main thrust of it anyway was that it's quite an unfussy plant, and it seems to be doing well for me. It's made lots of new growths, and I keep this one in full light on a south-facing window, because unlike other Maxillarias, this one is supposed to like good light. Now, I've no sign of flower spikes or anything yet, as far as I can tell. But I'd be hopeful that I might get something this year. We'll see. The third plant I got from Danni is this Promenaea here. And as you can see, nice, healthy plant, green roots. Now, Danni sent me this potted in sphagnum, and I left it potted in sphagnum. I didn't repot or anything when I got it. And it seems to be doing well. Now, I water this about every 2 weeks. I check it every week, and if it's still damp, then I don't water and I leave it another week because, well, you know, I'm a bit lazy over this sort of thing. When I got the plant first, shortly afterwards, one of the new growths rotted and died away. And I thought, oh no, am I going to lose it? But that was the only mishap I had with it. And since then, it's made several new growths that seem to be doing really well. So I'm pleased with it. I keep this one back from the light because I think it's you know, it doesn't need too much light. And yeah, it's growing well. Now I know its flowering season is summer. So I'm not really expecting anything yet. But there's a tiny little new growth there. I wonder. There it is, just there. And I think this is just another new pseudobulb. But still, I mean, signs are that it's a healthy plant, and I'd be hopeful that I get some blooms this year. The third plant is this Noida Cataleya, and it's pink and it's scented, and I'm really looking forward to this one flowering. When Danny sent it to me, it was already potted in this see-through pot and with bark. I added the sphagnum on top just to retain a bit of moisture because, you know, it had been recently divided, so I imagined it needed a bit of a help maybe to concentrate on growing roots. Now, having a plant, well, having a Cattleya in a see-through pot is quite a novel experience for me. And I can understand why people do it because, you know, you can keep a good check on what's happening with the roots. Root growth seems to have slowed down with this particular one, but it was doing well, and a lot of the roots we're looking at were new after I got it. So, yeah, interesting. When I received this plant from Danny, this growth here was just basically emerging from soil level, and as you can see, it's grown well. It's formed into a third pseudobulb. I think it's finished growing, and unfortunately it's slightly smaller than the other two. However, you know, this plant was recently divided and shipped across Europe, so it's been through a bit. But I think it's healthy enough, and I'm not sure if I'll get flowers next year, but maybe the next year after that, if not. And finally, we have the Tropical Pointer Galaxy, which is a gorgeous giant orange Cattleya with fragrant flowers. And I just can't wait for this one to grow up and eventually get to flowering size. Now, this one came to me bare root, so I potted it in one of my antique clay pots. Love these, they're from the 1800s. You can see handmade. Therefore, completely asymmetrical and wobbly, just oozing with character. And I think that was quite fitting for such a gorgeous plant as this. I potted it in medium-sized bark because it was quite a small plant, and just top dressed with a bit of sphagnum just to retain a bit of moisture while this plant grew roots. And it's grown good roots. Now I've moved the sphagnum back every now and again to chart their progress, and it seems to be doing well. This growth you see here was just a little kind of nubbin when I got it first from Danny, and it's matured. I think it's finished now, and again slightly, well, a bit smaller than the other two, so you know, that's just an indication of the fact that this plant has been through a lot. And look at that, silly me. Of course, you know it's a tiny plant, and you know there's no way it's going to flower, but it doesn't stop me just peering into the middle there to see if I can see any evidence of sheath. And the leaves on this one are quite delicate in there at the axil, so you see I actually tore the leaf. And I did the same thing on this other, there. You see there? Anyway, silly. But it seems fine, and I don't know if it's going to flower next year, but it's certainly making steps in the right direction. Now, both of these Cattleyas have been on south-facing windows in the house. I didn't put them out in the greenhouse this summer because I just thought they were a bit small to be going through that kind of thing. But yeah, there you go. So that was my video on the plants, an update on the plants I got from Miss Orchid Girl. I just have to pop them back into their place on the shelf now, and just show you the path I featured a little while ago, because the second flower has opened fully now and is looking good. And there's the first one you saw, just showing those off. Anyway, thanks very much for watching. Have absolutely wonderful Christmas, everybody, or Hanukkah, or whatever you're celebrating. And please check back again after Christmas, where I'll have lots more gardening videos and orchid videos for you. Thanks very much. Bye now.